And welcome back to another battle I have for you today. Yes, I done it on the same day. It was a pretty interesting battle, to be honest. Like, I like the terrain. Uneven, but it's a nice change of pace. This battle was much more fair. We'll start with the Athenians. The Athenians, you see, are pretty bog standard army for them. We got the light 4-axe. Yeah, pretty cool, actually, the terrain. I like to keep going on about it. Should ask for the coordinates of this place, but I know it's somewhere in Sparta. So we have the 4-axe. Basically, 4-axe will flank round or act as guarding force, such as a spearman. Cavalry on the left-hand side, citizen cav, not much to tell. Basic Greek heavy cav, pretty good. Basic. Then we have got pikemen, bring up the center. Pretty cool unit. Pretty bog standard, to be honest. A very bog standard Athenian army with slingers. That's the only real thing that stands out. Next, we have the Armenians, a faction that I know. Now, it's quite interesting, these Armenians, because they're not mine. And I always love seeing people play new factions that I also play. So we got Persian hoplites, bring up the 4. Pretty interesting choice, to be honest. Like, the Persian hoplite will have the exact same armor as the Greeks. Heck, they even got the same armor as my royal peltasts. But they lack other stats, like melee attack, melee defense, melee base morale, etc. But they are a cheaper unit, and they are actually pretty worthwhile. To bring up the center, however, we have the general's noble spears. These guys, these guys are good. Like, these guys, you can definitely depend on them holding a center for you. Of course, Armenia's strength does not lie within its infantry or Cartelian axemen, very fierce because of their armor piercing. No, it lies in their cavalry. Persian cavalry, to be honest, is quite an interesting choice. Very light variant of the cataphracts that I use, but still quite valid. I mean, like, they are still very good. Horse archers, of course, armored horse archers, never go on the battlefield without them. And axemen. So what we're looking at here is possibly the center will hold, axes will deal with any other external infantry threats, and cav will just be cav and flank and destroy. Now next we have the mixed lines of the Galatians. I believe that's their flag. Hold on. Yeah, it's been like that all day, trust me. Perhaps it has moments of being fidgety, so you might relate it to something else about women. So the Galatians, let's have a look at them. Yes, these are the Galatians. Last battle I was calling them Galatians all the time. We have Galatian swords, pretty standard barbarian infantry, but they're from Galatia. They're actually pretty good, better than other barbarians. For reasons. Levy Freeman. Never be fond of Levy Freeman. Multiple reasons why. Like, at times they can be useful, but at others they're just crap. Bring the Galatian legionaries. Now these guys are good. Barbarians with formation attack. Jeez. Yeah. They don't have discipline, which is a real letdown. But because barbarians with formation attack, this unit is a real good line holder for barbarians. Because you don't need to rely on the charge. Next up we got cavalry contingent. We got noble horse, heavy cav. Followed up by these mercenary Cappadocian. These guys I use in my Pontus armies, if you know. Pretty good. Pretty good, those guys. Noble horse are good also. Next we have some Galatian raiders, javelin cavalry. Pretty effective if used correctly. Celtic no, Levy Freeman. Here's their skirmishers. We got just more Galatian legionaries. Yeah, nothing much. Mercenary Syrian archers don't want to be bogged down by these guys because their armor is better. Trust me, slingers won't do nothing against them. They'll just keep falling down. Now, my army. I played as Euprus. Oh yeah, we forgot 2 other units. We also have another unit of Galatian swords in the back to support. And mercenary Cappadocian cav. You'll see how vital his support is. Although at times he can be a bit fidgety, but he's nevertheless reliable. So you see my army is already sprung into action. I took the Valleyway with these mercenary Etruscans. Always nice to have these guys on the front line. Very good mercenaries. Peltasts love peltasts. Their javelins will do wonders. And they can also hold up in the fight, as you see in this video. Have Herculean Royal Guard. Seriously, I was given a choice between pikemen and Herculean Royal Guard. I was going to choose Herculean Royal Guard because, let's look here. Pikemen. Memorize those stats, right? Hellenic Royal Guard are better. We have mercenary Cretan archers. Now, I don't need to explain myself why the hell I brought archers to a slinger fight, but you'll see why I've decided to only poke out with my cavalry. And coastal levies, or Illyrian levies. Pretty good, to be honest. Like, very lightly armored. True, albeit. But their damage, their axes can do wonders against low-tier armored units. Sadly enough, the Athenians like that. So anyway, let's see here. What was I doing? Oh, yes. Well, basically, we both held pretty strong positions, to be honest. Like, the only place we could really meet was down this center bit. And even then, it was pretty difficult. Like, I chose to do hit-and-run tactics with my cavalry because I didn't want to engage the Athenians whilst they were entrenched here with slingers. Well, they did have archers. Archers and 4-axe swordsmen. Because think about it. It would have to be straight on charging up with an army that is not suited for it whatsoever. So I kept poking out. I actually played against this guy before. He's pretty good. Normally wouldn't lose his patience, but I'm the Kingstrategist, I can predict. Mass use of armored horse archers. Syrians mounted on horseback, basically. Yeah, see this? This is what I gotta live with. Oh, never mind, it's back. So if I go too fast, it basically freaks out. So anyway, there's more of them hiding in the woodland, of course, but meh. So you see here, these guys are... Oh, wait, we can actually fast forward this. Basically, they're going to try and help this situation against these mercenary Italian cavalrymen. Very good medium cav. Especially against Romans, because they're feckin' Samnites on horseback. You see, the horse archers are trying to find exploits, but quite hard. The valleys are covered in troops. Of some sort, at least. And, well, let's think about it. You see that? Pretty cool, huh? So I try and engage these isolated units. I never knew these were archers at the time, though. But they were slingers. Well, archers are better than slingers. Back in the old days, they used to be really OP, and still are kind of OP. But not anymore. Archers do more damage. So here's a really interesting move. He moves all his axemen up here, then moves down. Don't know why. But he gave up a good position that allows the Galatian to prioritize this and take ground. And this is what you need to do in matches like these. It's waiting. Just waiting. Picking off at parts you can. So you see I have my Tarentine up here. Obviously taking the mick out of the Athenian for not bringing any skirmisher cav of his own to counter me. But he retreats into his formation. And 4-axe, pretty damn good. Don't want to mess with 4-axe. But, yeah. The Athenians are no joke. At this time they were fighting with Macedonians. Stuff and that, and you see these Athenians are pretty confident. But they know they got hacked off Illyrian coastal levies armed with axes on one side and Etruscans on the other, followed up by an angry army of Galatians. Forgot how to zoom in. Oh well. But they are backed up by their pikes, the 4-axe, and their friends, the Persian hoplites. To be honest, I think the Persian hoplites should do okay. Now here will come a major contestant point early on. This part here. Obvious reasons why. If I was the Armenian, I would push up here. About here. So I could establish my dominance. Yeah. That type of stuff. So we got the Galatians down here. Just being shot at. This is going to become a problem. This mass horse army. Because trust me. In the new Attila. Oh boy. Horses are getting an update. And by God, run. Run as fast as you can from the Huns. because they're just going to hunt you down. Sadly enough, the Attila Let's Play will be on pause till I do my exams. But videos will still be produced. So I take the high ground. This guy gets a pretty cool view of the whole situation unfolding. We got, oh yeah, my royal peltasts. You see why these guys were pretty important. They didn't do much though. I mean, I could have used them for better. So anyway, we see the Athenians streaming forward, and my archers get the cue to open fire on one poor unit. And they only see a few, but you can already tell these Cretan archers are gonna make up their pay. Oh boy, they don't even have precision shot. You can shoot one volley in a move though. Wait, hold on. They gotta boost the speed, seriously? Damn. So yeah, quite rightly retreats back. This is mostly skirmishing. However, this side's a bit more interesting. Didn't really watch this side. I know what happens here. I only played this a few minutes ago, don't worry. I could have suffered less casualties on. Yeah, I never liked Levy Freeman. Because of that first part in the Averni Let's Play, when I thought, oh, Levy Freeman can survive one charge. Nope. So no, I'm just poking and prodding. That's what I'm doing. He's keeping his archers here. Probably a valid choice, because these archers are a perfect counter. They can penetrate armor, but they can't do as well as javelins, but yet they have the range. So they're mid-tier. Everyone loves them. You see the pikeman here? He doesn't know, or is not aware that I have 3 units of Hellenic Royal Guard waiting to plug. Like, if I was going to assault, I would have done it now. But I can't. I can't beat him in a head-on fight because of the 4-axe. The way he's laid out his army is perfect. I like it very much. I might use this one day, actually. Might memorize it. 5 4-axe, 4 pikemen. Yeah, I liked it. Although I would change the citizen cap bit around, but I liked it nonetheless. So anyway, still no engagements. You may wonder why. Well, everyone's just jockeying for position. We see here that some of the Galatian swords are being used to soak up some arrows. But thankfully, because they're in a woodland area, they're actually harder to hit. But Persian cavalry. Yeah. Doesn't end well. But we see that they are advancing. The Galatians are starting to take a foothold, which is going to prove a major problem, because these guys are spearmen. They're not meant to assault hills. Like, think about it. You would have to climb up this hill, and once you got to the top, you would see an angry naked man just there, like topless. Be like Twilight, without werewolves and vampires, of course. So we see some citizen cav here. They obviously forgotten about me. I moved 2 units of Italian cavalry. And this is where fun begins. He moves up again. He's moving in for the assault. And I give him a few greeting gifts from Crete. Archers giving volleys off. My micro ain't exactly perfect either. Just doing their best to kill as many as they can. I order that once the arrows start flying, I move in my Hellenic Royal Guard. He does see them at this point. But he's like, screw it, I need to break through now. Because this cavalry is just going to keep picking, and the Galatians are just going to keep advancing. To be honest, this was a huge problem, and I can completely understand the Galatian player wanted to keep all his cav here. Yeah. You see, I start moving in my flanking forces, the Etruscans and the Peltas. Originally, the Etruscans would stand back, and the Peltas, but I thought of an even better idea. Because our lines were about to engage, I actually probably should slow this down. Just so you guys can admire the glory. Arrows flying, pike fights ain't usually glorious, but this one was. We see the Hellenic Royal Guard begin the poking and prodding that the Spartans would be impressed. Yeah. So we see here, we got mass cavalry engagement going on. The Illyrians are coming over that hill. Stop these 4-axe from doing anything. Sadly enough, these are Illyrians, so don't expect much of them. The Etruscans come in, and I got my Tarentine. So quite rightly, these 4-acts are going to prepare for battle. Like, this is going to be a long and hard battle. These are Etruscans. So I thought to myself, I'll flank round and hit him from the rear. The Galatian ally was a bit overexerted. Like, he was trapped between a hammer and an anvil, you could say. Or an anvil and a hammer. But he handled himself pretty well, to be honest, despite the circumstance. So he then moves into my territory. Which is quite a valid move, to be honest, because you see that this was a major game-changing decision now, with arrows flying into the backs, and the fact that these are Hellenic Royal Guard. You can see that this is not ending well for the poor pikemen. Like, they're about even, but oh god, the poking is everywhere. So you see some archers are taking pot shots. They're like, nah, better not get any closer. Didn't even notice the poor guys. They're, oh my goodness, they're not even getting poked. Poor guys. Anyway, we got some cavalry fighting going on here. Practically, the engagement initially went in my favor, but you see that these Hippias' Lancers hit and run tactics just really do me in. Like, I do run in more men to lay down javelin fire and to scare off some, but then I back off for some reason. And you see, yeah. More 4-acts. I'm tying down the 4-acts with these Illyrians who will last a long time, even if they do lose. But it will provide my pikemen a way in and out. My archers at this point, I don't know where the hell they went off to. Oh wait, there they are. They're just doing stuff. And we see the Cappadocian cavalry reinforcements from Galatia. The Vitonus. Over here, the Galatians are slowly losing ground, but they are forming around this hill. I don't understand this long line tactic, though. Like, it would work if you folded in, but otherwise. So, yes, there's a large horse archer spam. I failed to notice this. This is wanting me to go somewhere. Ah, yes, the Royal Peltas being commit. A beautiful spot. You see the Royal Peltas throwing javelins at the... Jeez, he didn't get any mercy. And more my Tarentine, because who else in this match has Tarentine? And my men being committed. They were meant to throw there, but I thought better. Then they start throwing all the way over there to hit one poor guy. Jeez. I wasn't really watching this bit, but the Galatians, yeah. This was a fun bit. I mean, like, I charge into them, didn't notice them, but I tie them up with my Tarentine to buy these guys time. Now, I was hoping that these guys would break soon. Meanwhile, on the main front, it's pike fighting got messy. I mean, like, they are winning in some areas, and the archers are definitely helping with that. And due to the Hellenic Royal Guard, and not my very terribly good micro, because this happens, we were able to turn the tide. The Tarentine don't last long. But they just ignored the majority of the the Galatian forces. I would have at least tried to contain him, because his stream of reinforcements and fresh troops does help me out a lot. So we see Galatian legionaries running in. The Etruscans being hit from two sides. They slowly lose this battle, but they do a number on these 4-acts. More and more arrows being thrown into the mix. Some Cappadocians being hit, and awkward pike flanking maneuvers. Like, pikemen on the flank are just ridiculously good, for reasons. Tarentine just causing pain. Like, I must pay these guys billions to stay in a fight like this. But yeah, basically the Armenian could have thrown in his men at this point, but that was lack of micromanagement. Like, these men needed to be committed into this fight, so we could then use these guys to have more effective effects on my ranks. But you see, yeah, the Galatians pull back to help with their fight up there. And then I turn around to meet this head on. I was hoping that would stop them. Yeah. Hopes really go far nowadays. So, he did get these Galatian raiders, thankfully, to stop and make this horse army think. And I didn't really notice this at the time, because I was taking position up on this hill to do some pot shots to give my Etruscans help, but obviously mercenary Cappadocians. If I was wise, I would have placed my men here and just made a killing zone, but then 4x. But anyway, with the free forces that I now have available, I rush in just to provide assistance. Over here, Tarantine's still causing havoc. Like, I'm just trying to tie them down as long as I can. Meanwhile, we have finally seen the Armenians committing to the assault. But is it a little too late? Like, the Galatians hold the high ground. It doesn't matter if these guys do armor piercing. It's going to take a while. There's also some Galatians still in reserve, so they're just going to flank around and hit. But we do see signs of Galatian legionaries, not the best units, by the way, faltering. They are faltering in areas. They might lose this hill, they might not. I'll wait and see, because you're going to stick around for the full episode anyway. So, formation attack definitely lets the barbarians down in these instances. So, I start to engage the Persian hoplites, along with my pikemen. Not the best move, to be honest, because I could turn around and hit them. And watch and learn the awesomeness of pikes. Ta-da! And now poke and prod, yeah. Pretty handy trick, pike, if you can turn it just in time. Like, you need to be completely tied down. Like, situations like this was made awkward. He was very good, the Armenian player. He wasn't from Armenia, but he was good at what he done. Like, he exploited that gap. We see some more Athenian cavalry trying to hunt down the Cappadocian, maybe even rally their friends. But primarily, they're just going to set up position on this hill and watch. The Etruscans finally getting help. It's a little too late. We see some Cappadocians or Persian cavalry running over there. Don't know where these Athenians are going. And we see the poor horse archers just getting volleyed everywhere. Like they were having to run through 2 sets of pikes to get away. And then we see these Athenian lancers do rather an effective charge against spearmen. So we see over there, however, the reforming of ranks. And where is the horse archers, one may ask? Where are they? Well, there they are. And you know who they're gonna hit? Yeah. Pretty bad. So anyway, back over to this hill fight. The hill fight is still going on. We got Levy Freeman somehow holding up against, and Galatian swords, holding up against Cartelian axemen. This situation was resolved due to timely intervention of the noble horse. But now they need to break. The problem is with axemen, they don't have good morale, but Cartelian axemen are professional axemen. So you're going to need to do something like javelins in the back to make those guys rout. We got some mounted horse archers, armored horse archers, attacking. We got Galatian raiders providing assistance to this poor Herculean royal guard. And my royal paltas being sandwiched. Actually quite interesting. Half of them were there. Half of them were in that fight. Helping out my guard. So we got another unit of guard here. They're just walking past the pace. Don't really notice that. My attentions were split elsewhere. Like pursuing this unit down with a pike unit to prevent them from finding that pike unit, as well as worrying about my general. So we see here the royal peltasts fighting on 2 fronts. Their lines are thin, but they don't really give a damn. They know they don't get paid enough for this, and they don't know their health insurance is that good either. But we see that the Persians are definitely, like, holding up against a unit like Royal Peltas is quite impressive. But we see that they do like morale and somewhat skills, but the cheaper alternative that is good. The Galatian Raiders taking the glory for my hard-working guys. And we see that these 4X learn quickly. Maybe we shouldn't outflank pikes and be hit in the back by pikes. Anyway, back over here. The Cartelian axemen are fleeing gloriously. Well, some of them are. Due to the heavy cavalry. So all these guys, all these angry Levy Freemen actually being useful for a change, gonna run in They're gonna be here. They're gonna fight. These out of place pikes, even though out of place, still do a hell of a lot of damage either way. And I have these slower moving pikes just giving suit. Yeah, Alexander the Great made these tactics work. I don't know how the hell he done it. Right, so let's see who got the most kills. Oh, look at that. It's finally me, jeez. Not by far, though. I mean, like, he suffered more losses, but he had to deal with this. The Armenians certainly had a good army. The Athenians definitely had an interesting choice. But I wouldn't go Athens for pikes. To be honest, they're just too generic. But they got a lot of good skirmishers, a lot of good 4X hoplites and that. Their light infantry force makes that up for them, though. My army, I like this army-ish. I could use it a lot better. Because as you can see, the main work was carried out by the pikemen. And I believe all elements should have an equal distribution. Which in this case didn't. But the Etruscans did hold for a long time. The Galatians, now this army I'm actually kind of happy. Because they actually made Levy Freeman work. Yeah. They did suffer a lot of casualties, but the Syrian archers made out. So I hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. And